There's some historic drilling on this property that showed pretty good promise. Unfortunately, we're having a hard time replicating those results.
Previous drilling suggested there might be gold, but finding it now feels impossible.
I'm gonna jump downstream and hopefully we can find some gold down there.
Still, Parker Schnabel is determined and goes downriver to a new testing area on the valley's east side.
We're gonna head down the road about 2,000 feet into the east side of the valley. The gold seems to be favoring that side, so we're going to start there.
People say gold is more common there, so he and Liam will set up their equipment and drill 2 new rows of holes.
So now we're bringing a core out. So you drill the core barrel down, push the casing over top, pull it out.
But how did they lose $200,000? Let us find out how Parker's gamble ended up leaving him broke. Parker's daring move to strike it rich. Parker, always the optimist in theory, knows the practical reality might be less generous. It's better than nothing, right?
It's been on the back of my mind or the front of my mind, I should say, that we didn't make it over here and get set up.
While dreams of gold dance in his head, a healthy dose of doubt looms, ready to pounce if the drills come up empty. After all, nature has a cruel sense of humor, and the ground rarely gives up its riches without a fight. The practical challenges of the expedition add to the uncertainty. Parker and Liam have meticulously planned out their drilling lines based on old reports and gut instincts, but each hole drilled is a gamble. The Eastern Valley ground is not yielding consistent, profitable results yet. They are pushing the drills deeper in hopes of finding a steady pay zone.
A lot of clay and fines, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of almost like a decomposed gravel. You can see that bits of that bedrock that's in it, that's broken down.
Liam, Parker's trusted assistant and right-hand man, has learned from experience not to celebrate too early until he is physically holding the gold in his hands. Together, he and Parker meticulously plan the routes for their drilling lines, each of them fervently hoping that every new drilled hole will bring them joy instead of frustration. It's like fishing in a barren desert with a map that has been drawn by someone who insists there's an ocean hidden beneath the sands.
Was that the bottom of one of the holes?
Yeah, you can see there's a piece of gold in there.
Oh, good, there's one piece. That might be a second.
Yeah.
Parker understands that uncovering gold is not as straightforward as historical records might make it seem. Every single hole drilled is a gamble. They plunge the drill deeper into the ground, always hoping to discover something valuable, but the results up to this point have been disappointing. The earth is unpredictable, offering sporadic traces of gold but no definitive lines they can follow with certainty. In an effort to explore more ground and increase their chances of finding a significant deposit, Parker and Liam decide to drill 2 new lines, each stretching out over a few hundred feet. They carefully pinpoint the locations where they believe the gold could be hiding, relying on historical geological reports and their own gut instincts. The first drilling line provides them with only a few tiny gold flakes, not enough to get their hopes up. However, the second line shows slightly more promise, revealing a couple of small pockets with a bit more gold, though still not the rich deposit they were aiming to find. After their initial findings, Parker and Liam gather their team to discuss the next steps. They study geological maps and consult old reports again, searching for any overlooked clues that could lead them closer to a more fruitful location. They decide to expand their search further by creating a third drilling line, this time aiming even deeper and wider than before. They mark out new points on the barren ground, hoping to tap into a hidden vein that might finally yield the gold they'd after examining the drill samples. Parker knows they have to keep pushing forward. "We need to find a consistent line of gold if we're going to make this place worth it," he tells Liam, who nods in agreement. The cost of drilling deeper is high, but they can't afford to stop now. Parker Schnabel is determined to find a reliable source of gold to justify the high cost of his new mining site. Drilling operations are in full swing, and although the process is smooth, the valuable gold is deep underground, at about 100 feet. This depth makes the mining 5 times more expensive than Parker's usual sites in the Klondike. During a routine check, Parker and his team extract a core sample from the ground. Parker notes the core's composition, mostly clay with fine particles resembling decomposed gravel. Despite this initial finding, Parker remains hopeful. The geological features of the area suggest that the narrow valley might concentrate richer gold deposits deeper in the ground. As they continue drilling, a glimmer of gold catches Parker's eye in one of the core samples, although it's minimal and not as promising as he hoped. With skepticism, Parker takes some of the material to his mobile gold room for a more detailed examination. After panning, he finds only a trace amount of gold, far less than the substantial amount needed to make the mining operation economically viable. Parker is undeterred. Moving to a potentially more promising area downstream, where the narrower valley could concentrate gold deposits, he sets up additional drills. The new samples are similar to the first, dominated by clay and gravel, but Parker remains focused on the need for a consistent and rich line of gold. After several attempts, a subsequent core sample finally shows a hint of more gold, including a few small nuggets. This discovery renews Parker's optimism as he finds more gold in the pan. Although still below the necessary yield, this slightly more successful find offers a glimmer of hope, prompting Parker to continue his quest for a profitable gold streak in this challenging terrain. But the next few samples are disappointing. The gold is still scattered, and there's no clear pay streak. They need a continuous line of good holes, not just isolated pockets. "It's like trying to find needles in a haystack," Parker mutters. With Smallwood Creek showing only scattered pockets of gold, Parker must decide if they should keep searching or cut their losses. Desperate last chance. After drilling several holes in the ground, they use a pan to separate the gold from the dirt, hoping to find a significant amount. Unfortunately, the gold they find is less than what they need to make the operation profitable. Parker, feeling doubtful, wonders if their efforts are in vain, as they haven't found a consistent gold streak. The drilling continues, but the gold remains scarce. At the end of the day, they collect only 32 milligrams of gold, much less than anticipated. Parker is visibly disappointed by the day's outcome. Liam, trying to remain optimistic, points out that they have found some gold, even if it's not a lot. Parker acknowledges this but remains skeptical about the profitability of mining so deep, given the small quantities they're uncovering. Liam mentions that the gold is found at 100 feet, just below the bedrock at 101.5 feet. Parker, with a hint of sarcasm, questions the practicality of digging that deep for such small returns. With few promising results from the current drilling line, they plan to move across the valley to start a new line, hoping for better outcomes there. The stakes are high, and Parker needs at least 200 milligrams of gold to justify the expenses of the operation. At the end of the current line, Parker and Liam review the inconsistent results. While they find pockets of gold in some holes, these are not adjacent, making mining unfeasible. Parker acknowledges the sporadic presence of gold, comparing the uneven distribution to Swiss cheese. He realizes the challenges of mining such deep and demanding terrain, which would require the ground to be exceptionally rich in gold. As they face these tough conditions, Parker knows he must carefully analyze the costs and potential returns before making any decisions on whether to proceed with mining. This decision is critical, and Parker ponders the financial implications of continuing their search for gold. Out at Smallwood Creek, Parker and Liam Ferguson, a drilling contractor, continue their search for gold by testing the last few holes. They carefully collect all the gravel from these tests, planning to wash it later to assess what they might find. As they examine the results, the situation doesn't seem promising. Despite investing nearly $200,000 and drilling multiple lines, Parker hasn't achieved the consistent results he was hoping for. The gold they find is occasional and not abundant enough, hinting at a possible but elusive gold streak buried deep underground. After swirling the final pan and finding only a few small gold pieces, Parker and Liam consider the viability of continuing.
A lot of clay and fines, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of almost like a decomposed gravel. You can see that bits of that bedrock that's in it, that's broken down. So when you wash it, it's mostly all fines.
If the disappointing results persist, they might have to stop. Parker notes the uneven quality of the samples, which makes justifying a substantial investment difficult. With the future of this site uncertain, Parker reflects on the financial risk. Liam and he discuss the sporadic nature of their findings. There's gold, but not enough to ensure profitability.
It's not like we're hitting dead holes. Like there's gold here.
Yeah, but no major hits.
I think we're gonna stop drilling for now.
The decision to halt drilling seems wise given the circumstances. Liam acknowledges Parker's effort and the funds spent, jokingly suggesting alternative, perhaps more enjoyable ways Parker could have used the money. They both share a light moment before Parker decides to check in with his team at Indian River, seeking some positive news. At Indian River, operations are ongoing with machinery processing large quantities of soil. Mitch, the foreman, updates Parker on the steady gold production, but highlights the urgent need for new mining grounds. The conversation underscores the pressure to find new viable sites as current resources deplete. Parker reflects on the overall situation, feeling the strain of needing more successful ventures to sustain his operations. Even as they spot some gold at Indian River, the future remains challenging, and Parker remains cautious, aware that this alone won't solve the larger issues at hand. Parker and his team need new ground fast. They are all in on finding a steady gold streak at Indian River. The crazy race to find new ground at Indian River. Parker traverses the expansive mining claim, engaging with his dedicated crew. As he moves around the bustling site, he observes Chris Domit efficiently shoveling pay dirt into the feeder, a crucial component of their operation, while Brennan Ruolt meticulously oversees the sluice runs, ensuring every potential speck of gold is captured. The air is filled with the mechanical hum of machinery and the determined energy of the workers. During his rounds, Parker stops to discuss the current state of their gold finds with Brennan. The conversation revolves around the adequacy of the gold they are currently extracting and the looming necessity for new mining areas to explore. Brennan expresses a clear concern. Without new grounds to mine, the operation risks falling into unprofitability due to depleted resources. This notion weighs heavily on Parker, who understands the critical importance of continuous production to sustain their enterprise. Feeling the urgency of the situation, Parker returns to his truck, a space where he can think and strategize away from the noise and dust. Inside, he spreads out a map covered with potential drilling sites, his finger tracing over locations that might hold the key to their next big find.
This is your treasure map.
This is the treasure map. This really gives us a lot of information. It is pretty clear that the dredge was on gold here.
He talks to himself about the risks and rewards, marking several promising spots that merit exploration. Determination sets in as he plans to reignite drilling operations, hopeful that one of these spots will prove fruitful. As daylight wanes, casting long shadows over the Indian River operation, Parker calls his crew together for an impromptu meeting by the campfire. In the glow of the fire, he addresses them with a blend of realism and motivation. He acknowledges the disappointment at Smallwood Creek, but reassures everyone that their efforts are far from over. He outlines the new prospects they have lined up, instilling a sense of resolve and camaraderie among the crew. Their faces reflect determination and a shared commitment to not end the season without significant success. Meanwhile, the machinery, nicknamed Big Red, continues its relentless work, processing pay dirt efficiently under the steady management of Mitch, who communicates over the radio with Parker. His message is straightforward and urgent. The need for new mining grounds is becoming critical.
The plants are running all right?
Flute's been big red's been plugging along really nice. We're mobbing through it here, man. You're definitely gonna need to find us some new ground here pretty soon.
He shares the challenges and frustrations of trying to locate substantial gold deposits, emphasizing the tough reality they face with current resources dwindling. The day's events underscore the volatile nature of gold mining, a juxtaposition of technological prowess and the age-old lure of gold. Parker and his crew are reminded that in mining, resilience and adaptability are as valuable as the very gold they seek. They prepare to push forward, knowing well that each new drill hole could mean the difference between a banner year and a forgettable season. Their journey is far from over, with many challenges ahead, but the resolve to overcome them is unmistakably strong. Parker concluded his call with Mitch, offering well wishes for the rest of the day.
All right, thanks, Mitch. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, easy, man. Bye.
Sounds like they hardly even miss me.
Alone with his thoughts, Parker reflected on how his absence seemed barely noticeable to his team, a fleeting thought that made him chuckle ruefully. He soon moved on to another call, this time checking in with Chris to get updates on the operations. Chris, busy as ever, reassured Parker that although the pace was hectic, the results would be promising. They spoke about the accumulation of gold that awaited Parker's return, hinting at a significant bounty.
Just busy.
Yeah, I bet it shows, man. It shows.
What are you thinking? We'll just weigh all this up when he gets back?
Yeah, I think so. It ought to be a cruncher for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's gonna be a trophy.
The conversation turned more tangible when Mitch unveiled the fruits of their labor, hidden under a tarp, a pair of buckets brimming with gold. The sight was astonishing. The weight of the gold meant the buckets required 2 hands to lift. Parker could hardly believe his eyes, estimating the gold to be several hundred ounces, a substantial addition to their season's efforts. With his mind racing at the potential of their haul, Parker and Mitch discussed the necessity to continue their relentless pursuit. The gold deposits were still plentiful, but the challenge was far from over. They needed to maintain their momentum to meet their ambitious targets. Feeling motivated, Parker decided to visit the rest of his team on site. He approached Big Red, a crucial part of their operation, where Brennan was overseeing the sluicing process. The machine was functioning well, but the diminishing returns from the current mining site were becoming a concern. Parker, understanding the urgency, planned to explore new mining grounds soon, ensuring the continuity of their success. His next stop was at Slucifer, where he found Fred Dodge and Rick Ness tending to maintenance and operational efficiency. Fred was busy repairing a leak in the water pump, an essential fix to keep their equipment operational. Meanwhile, Rick shared observations on the gold recovery process, noting that the output wasn't as high as desired. This prompted discussions on optimizing the material flow through their system to maximize gold recovery. Each interaction underscored the collective effort and the ongoing challenges in mining. Parker's leadership was crucial in steering the team towards not just meeting, but surpassing their goals. As he left each site, his resolve strengthened, ready to tackle the next challenge, knowing well that the journey to their gold targets was as demanding as it was rewarding. As daylight faded into the soft hues of dusk, Parker solidified his belief in the absolute necessity of maintaining peak operational performance. Understanding that the key to success in their rigorous gold mining operation
Doing it with my money without collaborating with me doesn't work.
was a combination of well-maintained equipment and a dedicated team, Parker emphasized this point to ensure everyone was on the same page. When night fell, the crew gathered around the warmth of a robust campfire. The flames danced against the backdrop of the darkening sky, casting a gentle, reassuring light on their faces. This gathering was not just a routine meeting, it was a moment of unity and strategic planning.
Final total was
7,381.
Parker started by acknowledging their accomplishments so far, noting that despite the progress, they faced a long road ahead. The Earth, while generous, was not yielding enough gold to meet their ambitious goals. This stark reality set the stage for a serious conversation about redoubling their efforts. Brennan, a key figure in managing the sluices, confirmed his dedication to maximizing the operation's efficiency, promising to keep the systems running as smoothly and for as long as necessary.
Things are breaking down, I gotta come and tell you, and then I get this response.
Meanwhile, Fred, who was in charge of keeping the machinery in top condition, stressed the critical importance of constant vigilance. He knew too well that any mechanical failure could derail their efforts and result in significant setbacks. He committed to promptly fixing any issues that arose to avoid operational disruptions. Parker, taking in the scene of his committed team, felt a deep sense of camaraderie and collective responsibility. He reiterated that their potential success hinged on everyone's hard work and adherence to their detailed plan. He inspired them to maintain their focus and strong work ethic, aiming to make this season one of the most successful in their history. The crew, energized by Parker's leadership and clear vision, began to lay out detailed plans for the next day. They engaged in thorough discussions on the most promising mining spots, with Parker taking the lead in mapping out potential drilling sites to ensure comprehensive exploration of the area.
About just the amount of it here, you know, we usually sluice about 2 feet. Right now, Dean's got about 5 or 6 in the cut.
As the night progressed, the campfire became a center of shared stories and laughter, offering a much-needed break from the day's labor. However, even in these lighter moments, Parker's thoughts were never far from the task at hand. He looked out over the expansive Indian River site, contemplating the challenges that lay ahead. He was acutely aware of the high stakes and the critical need for persistence and precision in their pursuit of gold.
It's been on the back of my mind that, or the front of my mind, I should say, that we didn't make it over here and get set up.
With the machinery like Big Red and Slucifer running efficiently and the morale of his team buoyed by the night's discussions, Parker felt a renewed sense of optimism. He believed strongly in the ability of his team to overcome the obstacles ahead and achieve remarkable success. As the last embers of the fire glowed softly in the night, Parker stayed back, his resolve strengthening. He was ready to lead his team through the trials of the next day, confident that their combined efforts would uncover the wealth of gold they so desperately sought. The quiet of the night enveloped Parker as he continued to plan and strategize, filled with a determined spirit. He knew that with a robust strategy, an unyielding team spirit, and perhaps a touch of fortune, they were on the brink of transforming their season into one of unprecedented success. As he finally decided to rest, his mind was filled with visions of golden success, symbolizing both the literal and figurative rewards of their hard work. Will Parker Schnabel's optimism lead to a lucrative gold find? Or is he just chasing shadows in Smallwood Creek? Share your thoughts in the comments and remember to like and subscribe for more adventures.